Ollie. I'm down at the bike shed today with my custom Triumph Bonneville T100. So a little backstory about myself. I'm a former member of the Royal Signals White Helmets. For those of you that don't know what the White Helmets is, it was a motorcycle display team between 1927 and 2017. Unfortunately, the Army disbanded the team due to cuts, which is a shame. But this is the basis of the build. So what you see here, I've tried to replicate a similar motorcycle to what we used to ride in the team, and that being a 1976 Triumph T140. This one, however, is a lot more reliable and you have less oil leaks, which is fantastic. So the build started in 2019, and during that time I was fortunate enough to have a custom bobber, which I didn't build, and that slowly starts eating away at you when you pull in somewhere and people are intrigued about the bike and asking you to explain things that you haven't done. So with that in mind, I decided to sell the bike, and it's in Marbella now, fortunately in a lot better climate, and this idea sprung to mind. So the process was looking at a original T140 at the time, but with prices still reasonably high for that market, I come across the Bonneville T100, and these are very customizable bikes, and there's a lot of parts out there for you to do what you need to do. It's a 2006 Triumph Bonneville. I picked the bike up and it literally looked like something Hagrid would ride. So I stripped the panniers off, etc., and started the process. I guess the biggest compliment I get at the moment is taking this bike and pulling over somewhere and getting the old boys to come over and not really knowing sort of what era it's from. And that's a massive nod to the work that I've done on the bike. So with that in mind, let me take you around the motorcycle. So starting with the front wheel, you'll notice the Continental TKC 80s, and these are fantastic both on-road and mildly off-road, which is great because that gives the aesthetic of the scrambler look to the bike. These are wrapped with Morad rims, and these were quite difficult to source originally because I wanted that high valanced rim. And then going on from that, we've changed the spokes to stainless steel because they're notorious for rusting away, unfortunately. Moving up slightly, we've got the forks, and I took a grinder and removed anything that's going to really sort of destroy the look of the bike, trying to keep it as sleek as possible where the original fender used to sit. Over to the right hand side, you'll see the Speedo drive assembly. We took that off and had this custom made, so all measurements, and it gives it that really nice finish that it almost looks like it's come out of the factory. The brakes are Behringer 6 pots, and probably a little bit overkill for this bike, but they set off really well with the nickel plated. Coming round back to this side and talking about the forks again, the internals are matrix, so it's fully adjustable. And the great thing about these is you can send your rider weight, and they'll set them up to what your preferences are, how your riding style, and whether you're going to be mainly on road or off-road. Coming down slightly, we have the Tamarick triple clamps, which look great, polished up. Off there, we've got a custom headlight bracket, and this is matched up with a back scrambler front fender, which I just placed in the vise and bent slightly and polished, and it sits really well there. I wanted to keep the headlight as minimal as possible, so it's only a 4.5 inch headlight, which sits really nicely there. Moving further up, we have the levers, and these again, Behringer, nicely nickel plated, and these attach to the Biltwell tracker bars. And the top clamp used to say obviously Triumph across here, but I've had that custom finished, and a lovely little brass accent which stands for Royal Signals Motorcycle Display Team, denoting the 90 years that the team was present. Off there we have the beautiful brass Moto Gadget speedometer, and sitting just behind here is a really lovely flush B-line mount which sets beautifully with the circles of the rest of the bike here. Moving on to the tank, the first thing you're going to notice is obviously that Triumph emblazoned on the side there, really popping out. I decided to keep these black. I originally thought white, but it's going to be too in your face with the amount of polished metal that we've got going on. Coming round here, we've got the white helmet's insignia. And I wanted to keep it minimalistic again, so we just have the two lines. The gold is symbolising the rite in which the team rode with in their final year of 2017. The fuel cap is Motone, and I've had it engraved with number 2, and that being the number bike that I rode for my 3 years with the team. Moving slightly down, the first thing that's going to draw your attention is obviously the nickel-plated frame. We had quite a few issues with having this acid dipped, and the main problem being with modern frames is you're getting paint flakes right in the welds, and it must have been dipped 5 or 6 times before we come back and was happy with it and we could start really polishing it up. But that was sorted and then sent off to be nickel plated, and it's a beautiful finish, and it really adds to that classic era look that I wanted of the bike. Coming down to the engine block, you'll notice obviously this is not a standard sort of Bonneville look. We've got the fins from Estevez motorcycle design, and moving backwards slightly we have the lovely slanted Cahin FCR 39 carburetors. These come with a standard red plastic velocity stack, so we took that away, got the measurements and created these beautiful brass ones which really draw your eye into the back of the carb. Just above there we have these really nice brass mounts again, and moving down slightly, more Motone accents with the oil cap. Coming out of the cylinder head, you'll notice the straight through pipes, and these were beautifully handcrafted by Tom at Hitchcock's Motorcycles. With a bit of running time now, you'll notice the colorization is starting to form in these welds, and it looks absolutely fantastic. But if you do follow it around right down to the last few inches, I asked Tom if he could laser engrave me this particular element here, which is number 2 again, the number I rode in the team, and 1927, the year the team was formed. Up from there we have the SW Motec foot pegs. These have a sort of very Scrambler-esque look to them, so I think they fitted perfectly. Moving slightly north, we have the brake master cylinder, and I wanted to keep this simplistic as possible because it's really going to draw your eye into the lovely see-through you see here. There'd usually be a panel, but we stripped that away, and nowadays with the modern look of the bikes, people want to see straight through there. Just beneath here we've got this aluminium battery tray, and that houses the M-unit blue and the lovely wiring which is lovely tucked away by Mono Motorcycles. They really helped us out. So keeping my arse comfy is this beautiful nostalgia upholstery seat, and he did a great job there within a very short time frame of sorting me out. But as you notice, a lovely little subtle embroidered Triumph on the back. Coming back down, FCR indicators. These are connected to some more matrix shocks, which are fantastic. Really sort of develop the feel of the bike. Coming down again, you'll notice the Renthal sprocket and DID chain. It's currently running 17 teeth, but I am going to go back to 18 as you are wringing the nuts off it at 65 on the motorway. As with the front wheel, this is an original hub, laced with stainless steel spokes once again. Coming around the back of the bike, you'll notice the Continental TKC8s again, and the brake caliper is actually a Discus Sociati 4-pot, which is once again overkill for the bike, but it really looks nice with that billet. Moving up, we have this beautiful rear loop, which I actually purchased online, and we bent it out slightly, and it fitted in there brilliantly. Finishing off the back of the bike, we have another FCR rear light and back Scrambler fender. So that's the bike. I guess all we've got left to do now is let you hear it. Starting the bike is another M-unit trinket. literally place it next to the indicator, ignition comes on, and you get to hear it.
Hope you enjoyed the bike as much as I have building it. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the Bike Shed for more custom builds like this.